Hello tacticians, today we're going to be looking at the machine hunt, which is due to start on the 22nd of January, as well as the latest and probably most exciting thing to come to Tacticus in a while, the campaign events. As always, thank you to everyone who supports the channel, whether it's through subscribing or using my friend code, as it really does help me out. So let's start with the machine hunt and we'll get to the campaign event in a second, as the two actually interact with each other. So with the machine hunt, each time you defeat a mechanical unit, except for summons, in a campaign or the campaign event, you gain metal scrap, which directly contributes to the event rewards progress bar. When raiding battles, you gain the same number of metal scraps. So we've seen this sort of thing before. And this time, as we go through, we're going to get salvage, as well as those blessed requisition orders, which, if you haven't used them before, will be able to be used here. So who do you get if you use these requisition orders? Well, the boosted chances are for Typhus, Nauseous Rotbone, Corrodius, Ascor, Rask, and Mesa. So you do actually get a boosted chance of one legendary. It's a bit of a shame, I guess, that Khan's not on here, but I think his legendary event is still ongoing and may appear in this later on once that legendary event has gone. As always, you can click on the dice to see exactly what the boosted chances are. It's not a massive boost, but it is a boost. And of course, if you start going over 50 drops with the blessed requisition drops, you'll actually start increasing those chances of getting those characters. So with those requisition drops out of the way, let's have a look at this new campaign event. The campaign event will start on the 23rd of January and it will run for 2 weeks. When you click on it, it's going to give you a bit of blurb about the Adeptus Mechanicus who we're going to be fighting against. Then you'll get a nice screen explaining what the campaign event is and what you need to do, as well as how often it occurs. And of course, with all things mobile, if you do wish to make some purchases, they're going to help you with spending your money as well. So I have a brand new account here. In fact, there's nothing in this account whatsoever. So can I, as a brand new player, take part in this event? And the good news is, yes you can. On entering the event, again you'll get more blurb and a story as it goes through. My revered brothers, the plan worked. The frothing hordes of the World Eaters have caused an ample distraction. Corrodius, blessed message, brother. The path to Northern Forge structure is finally ripe for our onslaught. How I'm looking forward to witnessing our master's gifts bring silence to this world. So, I have no characters whatsoever, and yet, here I am. I can put all these 3 on and start playing. And not only that, you'll notice that there are at the maximum of Stone 3, which is allowed for the common rarity. And you can just attack away. Bear in mind, you can still borrow the character even if you have the character unlocked, as the borrowed character may be stronger than your own. But of course, if you do borrow, they're not going to be getting any experience from the battle. So even if you haven't got the characters, you can join in and complete these missions. Based on how you do in your battle, you will score medals and milestones, and they all contribute to the campaign progress bar, earning you the event crates, which we'll have a look at in a second, and defeat the final boss to unlock the Extremis mode. But beware, there you cannot borrow the characters. So the standard mode is for common, uncommon, and rare, and Extremis takes it to epic and legendary. So to do those two, you are only going to be using your own characters. You can't borrow theirs. So I've already done mission 1, but now I got lucky. I've managed to unlock Mesa. And instead of using one of these characters, let's say we get rid of Pestillion, I can now put in Mesa. And I can only do this once I've got 3 medals on the mission, which means I've used the 3 characters they've acquired. Once I've done that, I can use any character at all and play the mission as normal and hopefully get that higher milestone rating. So now if I play with Mesa, you can see I've got the silver award. So it will benefit you to use your own characters rather than always borrowing. As you complete the missions, you'll start earning points to go towards your progress. That will enable you to open up the crates. Now the downside here is the character is Vitruvius. I really hope this might mean they have a rework in mind for this character, as to be honest, he isn't really very exciting as he stands. However, the other items you get in the crate are worthwhile for whether you're a new player or existing player, as you're always in need of these base components for when new characters come out. To see what is unlocked at each level, just have to click through each tier to see what you can get. And yes, it does go all the way up to getting legendary badges, which is very nice indeed, along with some rare gear. And indeed, as you go up even further, you start getting the legendary upgrades. At various points in the campaign, you'll come across the named characters which you can collect, and by defeating them, you'll earn shards towards unlocking them yourself. You can still borrow the characters, and of course use whichever characters you can of your own if you have them. And the rewards for completing the missions against those characters will reward you with a number of shards equal to the number of medals you get, and indeed the milestone that you're able to achieve. If you have Rotbone, you'll be wanting to bring him in to all of these missions. And of course, the more milestones you get, the more you get, to a maximum of 9 extra shards, whether it's Tangida, Extremis, Actus, or indeed Vitruvius. And the sharp-eyed amongst you will also see Sygex, who will be the new character that we can collect for the AdMech at a future date. And I'll be going over his abilities closer to the time, as I'm sure you are all more aware, sometimes the character you fight is not always the same as the character you get. The final fight is up against Belisarius Call, and if you've managed to get this far purely by using the borrowed characters, well done indeed. The good news is, if you are able to defeat Belisarius Call and you open up the Extremis, you will not actually be able to play unless you have the characters required. So you won't accidentally use any energy there. But if you have got them unlocked, and even if they are only at stone rank, and you've still managed to complete that standard campaign, you will have the option to play. So obviously, this is something to bear in mind if your characters are not at epic rarity, as you're not going to survive very long if you are not as good as the Imperial Guard. Whilst we know that these events will come around every 5 weeks and last for 2 weeks, we don't know how often they'll add new campaign events to the mix. I would guess the first one would be flipping this one on its head, and we would be using the AdMech versus the Death Guard to unlock the Death Guard characters. However, I would like to see maybe one for the Tyranids to come in, but I would like to know who you would like to see included in these campaigns and which faction you would face off against which other faction. No matter what happens, these are a fantastic addition, and I can't wait to see what else they have in store for us. If you like these videos, then it would be much appreciated if you at least think about using my friend code, as it really does help me out. Or if you or your guilds are looking for a new home, please reach out to any of the guilds shown, as we'll always welcome new people into our midst. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the battlefield.